So for this project, you're going to need some crayons, watercolor paints, a cup of water, paintbrush, maybe a scissors, piece of paper, and if you're able to do this with an adult, you can use a hot glue gun and maybe some cardboard. If you don't have a hot glue gun or cardboard, you can find textures around your house. That's okay too. Go get your supplies and I'll meet you back here. For the first step, grab some cardboard and cut it into some smaller sized pieces. Then start drawing designs on your cardboard. Okay, what's your next step after you've colored a design on your cardboard? Okay.
To do your glue gun.
Yep. So hang on one second, I'm going to pull that off.
What?
Okay. And remember, this is very hot.
Yes.
So is it okay to touch that glue like I just did?
No.
No. So you have your hand on there and you're going to squeeze as you draw. And watch out for your other fingers. Trying to follow your lines. Now that she's done with her hot glue, we're going to let that dry. And when it's all dry,
it's gonna look like this.
Okay, and we can feel the texture on there, can't we? So what can we use this for, Violet?
Textures.
What should we do with it? We're going to look for a naked crayon without a wrapper. What color do you want to use, Violet? Can you choose?
I want to use red.
Okay. So you want to test yours first. So your texture plate that you just made is going to go under your paper. Lay your crayon down like it's taking a nap. And then we can see the swirl that we made with the hot glue. Something that you want to use on your picture, Violet?
Yes.
Okay. Put it in the right spot and go ahead and give it a rub. I like how you're holding your paper down tight so it doesn't move. Pretty cool. So this is a really fun project that deals with textures and layering, and it takes a few different times to work on, which is really important for kids to realize that their art doesn't have to be finished all at once. We can find art that inspires our own artwork all around us. This is a sculpture that's found in Johnsonville in Sheboygan County. This piece of art was inspired by the artist Robert Indiana. He first created this painting of the words love, which turned into a sculpture in Philadelphia of the word love using the letters as the art. We can also look at the works of art by an artist named Jasper Johns. He often took letters and numbers and changed them and layered them to make his own artwork. Can you see the numbers inside these paintings and drawings? The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a crayon. I'm not going to pick a very light colored crayon because I want to make sure that I can see it pretty well. So I'm going to pick this green color, and I'm simply going to divide my paper into some sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then I'm also going to divide it this way. I think I'll divide it into 3 parts. 1, 2, so then I have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I did 5 across. You do whatever works for your paper. I did it about this size because I knew that the texture pieces that I made would fit inside these squares. Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little bit smaller, and that's okay. So now what I can do is I can do different texture rubbings in each one. Some of them I'll need to repeat, or I could make some more if I wanted. The next thing we need is some broken, naked crayons. Well, they don't have to be broken, but they do have to be naked, so take the wrapper off. And then I'm gonna pick which color I want, and I'm gonna put my texture plate that I made with hot glue, and I'm gonna slide it under so it fits under one. Then I'm gonna take a crayon that I pick. I'll pick a dark color so you can see it. I'm gonna lay it flat on its side so it's taking a nap. And I'm going to hold my texture sheet down with my other hand and give it a rub. Then I can see a really fun design. This one has kind of a spiral. Okay, then I can go on and I can put a different design in a different square. Now that I'm done with my crayon textures, I'm going to go ahead and paint with watercolor. I'm going to try to pick a color that's not the same as the crayon color. So I'm not going to paint with blue on this one. I'm going to pick a different color. So when you're using your watercolor paints, make sure that before you start, you take some water and you wake up your paint. Okay, I'm gonna take this water on my brush, I'm gonna rub it gently on my paint. I'm just rubbing gentle, I'm not pushing down and scrubbing hard. I'm just gently rubbing him, making sure that my brush is nice and watery, and then I'm gonna paint on the space. If I start to notice that it's getting scratchy looking, where my paint isn't showing up very good anymore, what I'm going to do is dip my brush in water and I can spread that color out some more without even adding more paint. If your color gets too light, what you can do is add more paint, but you want to make sure that you have enough water on your brush. So the final step after all your watercolor is done is you're going to use black, and you can use a crayon for this, but if you want to paint, paint's always fun. So Violet already did her first half of her alphabet, so she's going to start over here or this one. You can decide which one you want to start at. And she's going to start with the letter M, and she's just going to put an M in one of these spaces. And then in the next square, she's going to get a little more paint on her brush probably, so it's nice and bright. She's going to write an N. And she's going to go through the whole rest of the alphabet until she gets to Z.